Alrighty, it's 2:35 here where Nevada comes to talk as we continue our special coverage of the COVID-19 situation. The governor has basically done, but before we get too far away from NASCAR, I want to remind you, 10 o'clock Sunday morning, NASCAR Classic Race will be on here on the Nevada Talk Network. We will bring that to you, not live, but, we'll bring that to you 10 o'clock. It has been an interesting day. We have heard what the governor has had to say regarding basically signing a directive following the information of closing all non-essential businesses in the state of Nevada. And with us on the line is Assemblyman from District 33 up in Elko County, John Ellison, who is also a small businessman, Ellison Electric up there. It's been a busy time for you right now.
Oh boy, I tell you, this has been a last couple really interesting weeks.
I mean, you have had to deal with, you have 2 COVID cases up there. We've had a murder in Elko County, which now we have an arrest on, and we talked about that a little while ago here on our live coverage. But now you've heard what the governor's had to say. Give us your shooting from the hip, and I know you shoot from the hip, but give us your thoughts as to what the governor's had to say today. Huh?
Too much sometimes.
Yeah, we know. But give it.
Well, I can tell you listening to the program and what he had to say, and then I had Senator Goguchi on the phone right afterwards, and we're now talking with the district attorney. But this could have been worse. I was scared they were going to do it like California, New York did, and they shut the state down. That was my fear. But what he did was he gave the option early on to close down slowly and get this thing done. Now that's not. All non-essential businesses will be shut down at midnight tonight. So bars, beauty shops, that kind of stuff is at midnight. If they get caught being open, they'll have their license revoked, fined, or even it could get worse.
And our Ely City Ely mayor already signed a resolution, an order with saying basically the same thing, that if you violate the orders, you will have your license revoked. And so
that's right.
White Pine County is trying to be proactive at this. And it's just some businesses that don't understand how serious this is. How serious is this up in your neck of the woods?
Well, we've already got 2 cases and maybe 3. But just about every one of these was by air flight. So thank God Ely's airport for once is down. But most of these were traveling internationally or across the state, and that's where they got sick, is these flights, and you just don't know. My biggest fear was that they would come in and say, okay, we're going to shut down the state, and if anybody can get a chance, go on the website and look at the pictures of before and after of Las Vegas with all the lights and all the big Ferris wheels and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you see the lights off, and it looked like something from prehistoric age. I mean, it was awful how bad it was. So to give you an idea how bad it could be around the rest of the state, we can still operate on a lot of businesses, emergency laundromats, drive-through food, stuff like this. But it could have got a lot worse, I think.
And all it can take is one case for this to spread.
That's it.
You had some suggestions for people that when I was calling you to see if you could be on with us. You had a couple of things to suggest to people.
Well, I talked to Robin Titus, Dr. Titus, and I told her, I said, geez, we can't get wipes and stuff like this. She said the 2 things, if you look, Clorox spray and 409 cleaner. And on the back of it, it says it will kill that virus. But the big thing is every 2 days wash your clothes, like your jackets and stuff you wear more than several times. Every couple days wash them, and that'll help. But the hard surface like computers, countertops, gas station stores where you go into, that kind of stuff, be careful and keep them clean and use that 409. It works, and that's still available, quite a bit available right now.
Now, this is one of the things that was mentioned by our mayor, and it hadn't really occurred to me because we're pretty isolated here in Ely, and some of our areas are pretty isolated and pretty rural. But we forget that we have these big highways rolling through. Here in Ely, we have a car count of 14,000 a day. And we have our share coming through from Washington State, where it's a huge thing there, and so many other places. And, the traffic from Vegas north comes through here. The potential is there, and all it takes is one case.
Yeah, and by the time you even know you have it, you've already spread it. And that's the problem you got.
That's my concern for your neck of the woods.
That's right. It's very dangerous, and it can spread very rapidly, and basically it shuts down your lungs and your breathing capacity. And that's why most of the seniors, be careful around your senior citizens facilities, or grandmas and grandpas, or people like me. And you got to be real careful, because if you pick up anything, it could be the flu. I sent one of my employees home the other day, and he come in coughing and sneezing.
Good for you.
Coughing. And I said, "Get your ass out of here." And he said, "I'll be back in the morning." He said, "You go to the hospital." Well, he didn't want to do it for him the next day. And I said, "You're not coming back to work till you go to the hospital and get checked." So he did. Thank God we forced him in, because he had pneumonia really bad into one lung, getting into the other. He would have died if we wouldn't have forced him to go to the doctor. So you need to watch this stuff real close. And, this is the flu season, and there are more people dying by quadruple by the flu right now than it is this virus. But if this virus gets out and spreads, then it's a whole different story. It's a different ballgame.
It's an ugly situation. Assemblyman District 33 John Ellison talking to us from Elko, where, as we mentioned, there's been a murder up there. There's been 2 cases of the COVID-19, as it's being referred to as the Chinese flu. Are you really concerned about your community right now up in Elko?
I'm concerned about the whole state. Yes, I am. And these 2 positions were high positions. That one was a regular work one, but one was a larger boss that traveled all over. And so you imagine how many people they come in contact every day with.
They're employees.
Yeah, and one of them rides the bus every day.
Oh.
So it can spread dramatically, and how many people could be affected and not even know it, and taken home to their families. That's the bad part. But my district goes all the way down to Caliente, so it goes from Windover, Utah, to Idaho, Jackpot, over by Winnemucca, all the way down to Caliente. So if you cut half the state in half, I've got 3/4 of half the state. And that's how big my district is. And we have so many calls right now, mostly with the Second Amendment issues, of people trying to get, if they wanted to go buy a new gun, they're getting tied up in this mess, trying to get through to get these, to get their permits passed. So we're getting a lot of calls. Senator Goguchi and I spent 2 days on the phone trying to resolve these issues, trying to get these permits out. So it's not just the virus we have to deal with. It's tons of these issues, but this one is probably the most serious, is this virus.
We have people who are trying to say this is an overreach. This is an attempt by certain people to co-opt your rights in the state. What would you say to those people?
Well, in some things it's true. there should have been some of the stuff that in some of the agencies that it could have been done a lot better and a lot easier without shutting them down. But is there a background on one of these issues? I think there is. If they can disarm the state and the people, that could happen. So we got to be real careful. We got to be very aggressive. That's why Pete and I took this very serious. Because if they'd have took all these and not let any of these applications go through, now if you got a CCW, you're exempt. You can go in and purchase a weapon and get through the system real easy. But if you don't, then it's real hard to get it through. And most of these people now are working from home, so it's even bogged this thing down worse. But has there been a big fight trying to get gun control? Yes, there is.
Well, yeah, and
this is not going to be one of the issues.
That's not where I'm going with this. There are people out there who are saying that the governor is overreaching in this effort to quash the COVID-19. They're saying that these measures are an attempt to turn us into martial law. And I don't necessarily believe this, but there are people out there believing it and saying that this is going to kill us, this is going to destroy the state, and this is going to make us have to be just like California. I don't think that's the case. Do you? Well,
my biggest fear is when we knew that he was going to come out and do this. I was really scared to death that might happen, but it didn't. And I'm really happy it did not. But at that point in time, when they're defying an order, well, it wasn't even an order, it was a suggestion. Now it's an order. But if they'd have kept defying and keeping these businesses open, these restaurants and stuff, it could have got nasty. So I'm glad he did what he did. As a business owner, and I know what these other people are suffering through, I can understand. They're trying to stay alive. They're trying to keep their employees going, and you can't make a payroll if you don't have money coming in. So, but it could have got worse. It could have got a lot worse, and then you'd have seen the cry. Because look at Vegas. I mean, they're dying on the vine. You probably lost $58 million the last 30 days.
Oh yeah. And it's we're only, what is it, the second week of this? No, we're just ending the first week of this order.
Well, what made me mad when we had the conference call, when the governor come out and said that he's going to do 15 days, when he did the press conference, what did he do? The first thing he did was come right out and said 30 days. And I went back and asked our caucus to meet with the governor's chief of staff to see if he can, review this in 15 days. Because at 30 days, some of these businesses are gone. They're dead.
Yeah.
Them jobs go away. So I'm really worried about that. Here's another thing. What happens to the people that's got large bank payments and they own commercial developments, and all of a sudden these people aren't paying rent, but yet they still got a banknote. So what happens then? So not only you're destroying the business, the small business, you're just destroying the guy that owns the property that now could become access to the banks. So they haven't taken that into consideration, and they got to do that. If not, this could be a disaster.
State Assemblyman District 33 John Ellison is spending some time with us here on the Nevada Talk Network, and we will go to the to the White Pine County Commission meeting coming up here at 3 o'clock. I've kept you a little longer than I had meant to, and I apologize for that. But
I just love talking to you guys down here. I spend a lot of time down here, so it's good to talk to friends down there. So anything I can do to help, let us know. And
well,
like I said, please don't keep the fear factor going.
No, and that's
get out there and help your neighbors.
That's the thing we've been talking about. This is a difficult time. This morning, was it this morning or yesterday morning? at our local big grocery store, Ridley's, and I hate giving them plugs, but I'll plug them for this. They started opening for seniors. Our mayor was there. We had members of the sheriff's office helping them out because they were understaffed, and this is the big concern right now. I told this to our mayor. I went to the grocery store because, I'm here from 7 o'clock in the morning, and I got out of here about 9 o'clock last night. I had to, because I had no bread in the house. I went by, and there was no bread in their house either. And there were no gallons of milk, and there were no eggs. And, it's a supply issue, but it's also panic buying, and we can't panic at this point in time. We just
Try to
can't.
find toilet paper. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no toilet paper. If when I went on a trip a couple of weeks ago to go to Las Vegas just for a down and back to pick up somebody, if I hadn't stopped at Walmart at that point in time getting other stuff, and if I hadn't grabbed a 4-pack, we'd be in trouble right now.
Yeah, and the hoarding is one of the worst things they could do right now.
Too much panic buying. Too much panic. There's no reason to panic. It's, many of these businesses are hiring people to help. And if you have a moment, talk to people. Help your people. Help everybody. If you do not help them, you got to pay this stuff forward. If you don't, it's no good.
Well, my daughter put on the internet last night there was some seniors that were trying to find milk and eggs, and for people to please come out and help. This morning we opened the office door. Guess what? Started showing up at the door.
Milk and eggs.
And milk. And that's what it's about. Get on the internet. If you see somebody out there who needs something, ask. And that's the big thing. If somebody calls and says, "Hey, I have no power in the middle of the night and I can't afford it," hey, we're there anyway.
Yeah.
Or if they say, "We have no food, can you help with something?" Yes, we do. But one of our businesses have been broke into every night to steal the soap and the toilet paper. And they're doing damage to the walls by trying to steal the things off. Now, how stupid is that? For God's sake, if they need a roll of toilet paper, walk in and ask. But this is not the case.
No. And folks...
One guy drove in a $40,000 car. We caught him on camera. Walked in and busted the thing to get the toilet paper out, stole the soap, and walked out and got in his $40,000 car and drove off.
Oh, my God. We need to hang him. And the same thing here. Folks, if you know somebody who needs something, if you need something, get in touch with us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Nevada Talk Network, or email us, nevadatalknet@gmail.com. If you need help or you want to help, get in touch with us. We need to help people, and that's what it's all about.
That's it. And let me tell you, if somebody calls me from down in Ely, says, "I have no food," or "I don't have this," it's a 3-hour drive to get there, but we'll be there. We'll help. God don't want you to sit there on your hawk. He wants you to help.
Exactly.
That's my reaction.
John, I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot of things going on, but I thank you for spending time with us. Assemblyman District 33, John Ellison, spending time with us here, talking about that stuff.
Thank you, guys.
409 spray and Clorox spray, if you can find them.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you so much, boss. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, buddy.
All righty. We're going to try to go to the county commission meeting here, White Pine County Commission, who will be meeting here in just a few minutes. But first, we want to update you with the latest national news here from the Nevada Talk Network.